according to all which I commanded you.
The Most High said, what?
Obey my voice and do them according to all which I commanded you.
He said, man, obey these words, man. So obey these words, man. You know what I mean? And for what reason? Read on.
So shall ye be my people.
So you can be my people.
And I will be your God.
And he will be our power, man. That's what we need to be looking after, man. And what the hell? The Most High got to come to us and say, man, follow my commandments. Listen to what I say. Like a good father, he got to come to his children and say, listen to what I say, man. Listen to what I say. So you can live, man. So you can be my people and I can be your God. So I can protect you, man. So I can protect you from all these other nations that want to harm you. You know what I'm saying? So I can free you out of bondage again here in America, man. The Most High says, he told us, man, listen, you know what I mean? Be my people. Listen to me and be my people. So I can be your God. So I can be your power. You know what I mean? Be the terrible power that these other nations look at the Most High as, man. You know what I'm saying? Read on. Come on, sir. Read it.
Verse 5.
No, keep going.
Verse 5. That I may perform the oath which I have sworn unto your fathers.
So he could perform his oath. So he could do what he do, man. Exodus 15:3 said the Lord is a man of war. Right or wrong? The Most High said, so I could perform my oath. So he could do what he do, which means destroy all these nations, man. Lay all these nations to waste. Lay all these nations to waste because of what they did to the Most High God's chosen people. Because of the cruelty that they showed the Most High God's chosen people.
All right, y'all. So lucky about that, man. Let's clap it up. Most High in Christ. With the ISUPK start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana, man. Today, you already know, it's the second week of the Hebrew connectors, man. All right, the beginning connectors that go at the beginning of a root word. Okay, now, it was something that I wanted to show y'all. Oh, I got a video. I have a video that I wanted to show you. Salakia, I didn't do my introduction. Shalom, Anyakwatazian Marah, Mawarka, Kayahayawam, which means I'm Officer Marah, your teacher for the day. Now, just so y'all know, I say it slow. I'm Officer Marah, and then I'm saying I'm your teacher for the day. All right. I want nobody calling me Mariah and no old craziness. Talk about Officer Mariah. Nah. No. All right, so okay, let me pause this real quick. Mute it or something. All right, so I got this video, y'all. I'll be playing this video sometimes at the beginning of class, because this is a very, very shalom cap, y'all about to because this is a very, very important video for us to see. All right, I'm gonna play it on the screen right now for you. So this video right here that we about to go into, you see what it says, right? It says a moment in Jewish history. Now let me turn this on for the what you call it too. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to get them to see the computer. Maybe that'll help with TikTok, man. TikTok, I'm trying to save y'all. All right, trying to save y'all. Now, what you see on the screen is it says a moment in Jewish history. Now, here's the craziest part about this, right? Here's the craziest thing about this. It says Jewish history because it is not referring to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You want to know how your land got stolen and how your language got stolen? You better look up the Zionist movement. You better look up the Zionist movement. The Zionist movement in 1948, I said 19, meaning the 1900s, and 1948 went and claimed our homeland through what you would call something like eminent domain, right? Or what's part of eminent domain? Adverse possession and the squatters' rights, squatting. Now, why would they have to go through the Zionist movement and get help from America and get help from all the from other people to go back into their homeland when they could have just went back into their homeland, right? They couldn't because it wasn't their homeland. They're German. The Germans put them out and put them in the chambers for the evil that they was doing to them financially. And so many other countries put them out and sat them on their behinds for being so evil and wicked. Meanwhile, trying to say that they were converts, they were ish, they were Jew-ish, they were converts, they were ish, they were like that of a Jew, but not a Jew. They were Jew-ish, they were converts to our culture, to the Jews' culture, right? Now, without further ado, I'm gonna play this video. Y'all go ahead and watch this.
This is a moment in Jewish history. Until the mid-19th century, most Jews in the land of Israel spoke Yiddish, Ladino, Russian, or other languages. When the
Wait,
Zionist movement began to return to the Jewish homeland.
I gotta rewind that. I don't know. Can y'all hear the? Let me know if y'all can hear the video. They said they were already speaking Yiddish. This video that we're about to go into is a video about the it's talking about the Hebrew language. So if they already had Yiddish before they so-called restarted speaking Hebrew or re-speaking Hebrew, as they call it, then what was Yiddish? And if they were speaking Yiddish and then re-spoke Hebrew, then what would be the point of still speaking Yiddish today? Or how did they get to speaking Yiddish from speaking Hebrew? That didn't make sense. I'm gonna rewind it and we're gonna continue. Just pay attention real closely.
Russian, or other languages. When the Zionist movement spoke Yiddish, Ladino, Russian, or other languages, spoke Yiddish, Ladino, Russian, or other languages, spoke Yiddish, Ladino, Russian, or other languages. When the Zionist movement began to return to the Jewish homeland, they began to revive the ancient Hebrew language. The initiator of this revival of modern Hebrew was Eliezer ben Yehuda.
Hence the Ben Yehuda dictionary. The Ben Yehuda Hebrew to English dictionary. But you notice how I said when they revived Hebrew. They're supposed to revive Hebrew, according to them.
He started the Hebrew Language Academy, which published the first modern Hebrew dictionary in 1910. He and his colleagues created words for modern everyday things not found in ancient Hebrew. Today, Jewish people all over the world write and speak the language, and countless books of all kinds have been published in Hebrew, including Nobel Prize-winning literature by S.Y. Agnon. Major streets have been named after Ben Yehuda in cities throughout the country. This Jewish history moment was...
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. Let me bring us back full circle. So they already had Yiddish, right? That's something that they already had because that is their language. However, when they decided to steal our language, saying that they was able to steal our homeland in the what the hell was it? In the 1948, the 1940s, they was able to steal our homeland. I'm sorry, I'm just checking TikTok. They went back and tried to, what they said, tried to revive Hebrew. The problem is, I'll play this video. I'll play the next video. Because all right, I can give you a little bit of it. The problem is this. The problem is you can't steal a language without stealing a language. It's a language. The language itself every language revolves around a culture. Right now, people used to say slack. Right now, what they say, and they used to say crazy work, and that's fire, right? We say words like that, right? But That is because of the culture. Right now we say what? Smoke. Who want the smoke? You know what I mean? It's so many different words and slang words that we say nowadays that before we didn't say. Right? It wasn't a slang, which means the culture is ever evolving, which means that the language has to evolve because the language is the communication of the culture, of any people, of life. Now, I have another video. Remember what I said. It was a problem in them reviving the Hebrew, right? They revived the Hebrew. So they claimed they revived it, but they were already speaking Yiddish. Now I'm going to show you what the real issue is. There's a problem with. I'll play the video. Let's get it.
Hi everybody, Yana here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Hebrew questions. The question for this lesson is, just what is the difference between biblical and modern Hebrew?
Now, how in the hell is it a difference between biblical and modern Hebrew? How is it even a difference? And I ain't talking about a difference in the fact that we might speak slang now, or a difference in the fact that you got new words, right? So you would hear this and think, okay, maybe they talking about, maybe because it was back then, we don't say like notwithstanding anymore, right? No, that's not what they're talking about. Maybe it's because we got jets and computers. Maybe they're saying, there's a difference in the language because now I got to explain the computer. No, that's not what they're saying. Let's get into it. And I'm going to continue the video. Hold on, Salaki. Let me bring it back full screen. Let's get it. So there's a difference between modern and biblical Hebrew.
Now, you may be attracted to Hebrew for any number of reasons. Perhaps you want to communicate with friends or...
Now, you notice they got the word shalom. Well, it's not now, just get me right, y'all. This word is not shalom, but I'm saying shalom because this is the mispronunciation that fake Israelites say this word is. This word is shalom. Shalom. It's the same word. You got shalom, shalom, and then you got shalom. Right? The ma is not the sound coming off of the ma is not very it's not a hard ma. It's not it's softer. So you're not saying it as, you're not saying shalom ma for the ma to be, for the sound to be heard. It's not that important. You're saying shalom. The law is what you're pronouncing, because the law is giving it a different meaning than just the greeting. We say shalom. That's a greeting, peace. We say, all right, shalom, y'all, meaning you're giving them an extra part to the greeting, which is funny that it's more to it. Is like is active. It's becoming an active peace, meaning one, you're just saying peace like I'm out, but then you're really saying peace like be in peace, everything that comes with your inheritance, prosperity, all of it. Because when we get our inheritance, you will be in peace, right? It's so much when you look up the word shalom that, now I just said it perfectly, shalom, that you'll see what I mean, like peace and prosperity and inheritance and peace in life. It's so much that in the definition, because of the slang and how we mean it, which is where the character wa comes in at. It's the present tense, which we're going to get into right next week. But I want you to notice that the oppressor is using this word, and so is the fake Israelites. But the oppressor, he not mispronouncing the word. He got sha, S-H-A, then he got lo, L-O, and then M. He don't got shalom. He don't got SHALAWOM. He got Shalom and then with an M. So the oppressor is pronouncing the word correctly, and fake Israelites are pronouncing it wrong because you didn't learn under commanding General Yohanan. Let's keep going.
Family. Or maybe you're interested in studying the many religious and classical texts written in Hebrew. Depending on your reasons for learning Hebrew, you may end up learning one of two very different languages.
Whoa. If you want to learn, if you're trying to learn Hebrew right now, she just said you may end up learning one of two different languages. Biblical Hebrew is a completely different language from modern Hebrew. Remember the Yiddish. Remember they spoke Yiddish, and they spoke Russian, and they spoke Latin, and they spoke all the Japhetic languages that they stole from Japheth, because their original language should have stayed Hebrew. I got a question for you. What was the white man's original language? And I got a question for you. What was blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians? What was our original language? It's the same language. It was Hebrew. Abraham the Hebrew. Give me Genesis 14 and 13. Baba Kashaw. It's the same language, Hebrew. Abraham was a Hebrew. He spoke Hebrew, and we'll prove it right now. Salakia TikTok. I know I got y'all on the screen with me, y'all. Just bear with me. I ain't found a way to really get it. Oh, dang. Hold on. This look kind of good over here, bro. Hold on, Quatters. I might just set them up over here. Y'all looking like y'all pretty good right now. I don't know if y'all can still see me. I don't know how good you can see me over here, but I'm gonna try to back this, camera up. Hopefully, I'll get y'all in the game. Go ahead, Quattazar.
Khan is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 13. And there came one that had escaped, that it's like told Abraham the Hebrew.
Abraham the what?
The Hebrew.
Abraham was a what?
Hebrew.
I thought he was Arab.
Hebrew.
I thought Abraham was a Muslim. Now they say they're fully a Muslim. Muslim. Like you got their damn nose stopped. Muslim. I'm a Muslim. They be killing me. I thought Abraham was a Muslim. What was he?
A Hebrew.
A Hebrew. Which means Abraham spoke Hebrew. Which means Abraham's son Isaac spoke Hebrew. Which means Isaac's son Jacob spoke Hebrew. Which means Isaac's son Esau spoke Hebrew. Esau didn't care about his language, though. He didn't care about his birthright. He didn't care about his lineage. And he didn't care about the future. He cared about right now. When you become a hunter, that's what life becomes about. When y'all see those videos where they building houses in the woods and they camping, that's survival. Survival is right now. Donald Trump is a damn dummy because he is doing things that is benefiting right now and is going to destroy America. These people, they don't care. Abraham was a Hebrew. But when these people, when they decided to go off on their own, they didn't marry Leah. They forefather didn't marry Leah. That's why she became one of Jacob's wives. He went and didn't stay. He went and got with the African. He went and did all types of committed lewd sexual acts, and he went and started essaying people and stealing their languages and stealing their cultures. And he essayed, the Latin, the Japhites tribes, the Japhetic tribes, and stole their languages like Latin, like English, like Spanish, like Russian, like Greek. Those are Japhetic languages. English ain't the oppressor's language. Greek ain't the oppressor's language. Latin ain't the French ain't the oppressor's language. Latin ain't the oppressor's language. Spanish is not the oppressor's language. It is Japheth's language and his tribe's languages. He's a thief. His language was Hebrew, and he should have kept it, but he did not because he didn't care about his birthright. Our language was Hebrew, and we kept it. That's why we're known as what people call us today. We was not known as this in biblical times, but people say this today, the Hebrew Israelites, because Israelites or Jews, as the world knows us, we were always known for our language being Hebrew, which was the first language on the planet. I'm gonna get back into the video. I'm sorry, y'all, that I didn't keep the what's called up on the screen for TikTok. All right, so let's keep going. So I'm gonna rewind it a little bit because I went on a little, rant or whatever. I'm gonna keep
learning Hebrew. You may end up learning one of two very different languages.
Two different languages.
Biblical or classical Hebrew was an ancient language that first emerged in the 10th
can they hear it on the what you call it?
Over the next centuries, the ancient Hebrew people used it to communicate and to take a record of their history, religion, philosophy, poetry, and culture.
I think I missed a little bit of something right here that y'all need.
Language that first emerged in the 10th century. Biblical or classical Hebrew was an ancient language that first emerged in the 10th century BC. Over the next centuries, the ancient Hebrew people used it to communicate and to take a record of their history, religion, philosophy, poetry, and culture.
I'm gonna pause you right there. Our language, of course, because it's a part of our life, it's talking. We documented our history in our language, what they call our religion, but our culture and our language, our philosophies, our sayings and the things we upheld. And you know how when people philosophize and all that, that was part of course, your language, because you got to talk. Our poetry, meaning what? Our music, psalms, the songs we made, songs of Solomon. All that is because you gotta talk. It's in your language, and of course, your culture. The way we dress, our slang, everything about it has to do with our language, because your language is a part of life. Keep going. Keep going.
A portion of this literary record formed the basis of Hebrew scriptures and also what came to be called the Bible. During the Roman period.
Don't let her get away with that. Also, what came to be known as the Bible. It was not called the Bible before. These bastards collected our writings, right? Our holy scriptures, and put them together in a composition. That composition was called biblos, right? In the Greek. A collection of compositions of our culture, our stories, our history, the law of God. That became known as biblos, the Greek word, or a collection of compositions, right? Or a collection of documents. And that in English became Bible. So our culture, our history, our philosophy, our language, all this, Salaki, y'all. Put myself back up here too with y'all. All this became known as the Bible. All right. So that's very important that y'all understand what she's saying. All right. I just wanted to break that down. We wasn't just gonna let that slide by the way she just said it, like it was nothing, because it all is coming around full circle to some point that is about to be made. I'm gonna go back into it.
Hebrew scriptures, and also what came to be called the Bible. During the Roman period, the language evolved beyond recognition and later fell out.
During the Roman period, the language evolved beyond recognition. No, it didn't. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. I'm gonna rewind it because the next part that she's about to say is very heavy.
During the Roman period, the language evolved beyond recognition and later fell out of use in daily life.
Here's another lie. The language fell out of use in daily life. It was unrecognizable. Okay. So how in the hell did y'all figure out the language? If it died out, then who was able to speak it? Hold on, Quatazar. She lying. this hoe is lying. It's a lie for the language. This broad is lying. How do you know? Because they, quote unquote, went and translated it later in the 1900s. How? How did you get a Bible if it fell out of use completely? If it fell out of use in daily life? How? How do you have a Biblos, a Bible? How is it now that you got a blue letter Bible and you got the translations and y'all reading it and all this? How do you have that? That don't add up. She's lying. What she's saying is, because we got ran out of our homeland and hid for so long, nobody gave a damn about us. The ones of us that lived in Rome, or what's called today France, Russia, Italy, Turkey, England, the UK, the Netherlands, the ones of us that lived up there, they made it illegal for us to say that we was Israelites. It made it illegal all the way until the Council of Nicaea. You cannot say you was an Israelite. You cannot say you was a Jew after the time of Christ and, you know, the disciples and everything we did. Once they ran us out of our homeland in 70 AD, it was a wrap for that. Because, you know, you see how Yahushua and the disciples went out and how Stephen went out. It wasn't something that you could openly just say you was practicing your culture as an Israelite, because we were hiding from the Romans in Africa, and the rest of us just gave up the spirit or hid it and claimed to not be doing it all the way into the Council of Nicaea. I'm gonna go damn Salaki TikTok. I keep forgetting to have y'all up on the screen. I don't know if y'all can see me or not, but I'm gonna keep going. But that's what that's the part she didn't say. That because the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
But it lived on in religious contexts.
But it lived on in religious context. So it fell out of use in daily life, but it lived on in religious context. She's a liar.
Hebrew experienced a revival in the late 19th century as part of the larger Zionist movement.
As part of the larger Zionist movement, Esau being the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Thanks to the effort of Eliezer ben Yehuda, who prepared the first modern Hebrew dictionary, people started using Hebrew again to communicate with one another as they went about their lives. But because of the influence of European languages, Hebrew changed. Grammar.
Because of the influence of the other what the hell did she say? I don't
European
know.
Languages.
Of the European languages. Of Esau stealing Japheth's language. Because Esau stole Japheth's language, the Hebrew language changed. Because he was speaking Russian on a regular, Yiddish, Latin, English, Spanish. All these are Japheth's languages of his tribes. Let's keep going. So the Hebrew changed according to her. It didn't, but Esau, what he did was bring in the Japhetic pronunciations into the Hebrew language that he decided to speak for himself. Now remember, Japheth, he had Yiddish and all this. Esau stole those languages and now is incorporating it into his original language that he spoke. Esau can speak Hebrew. It is his language. Shalom, sis. All right. But he's such an evil monster, he still don't want to speak the actual language. And it's still his. What a dummy. He's the brother of Jacob. He is a Hebrew. And he still don't want the language. He's an evil man. He's an evil man. I'm gonna keep going.
Who changed? Grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary. Not a single aspect of the language went untouched by the transformation.
Hold on.
Grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary.
Grammar, the way you speak the Hebrew, the format, the pronunciation, how you say the words, how you say Elohim. He changed it to Elohim. Elohim and all that. And Yishnikov and Mazel Tov and all that crazy Yiddish. Okay, he's not saying the regular words. He's saying shalom instead of shalom. He changed the pronunciation, the grammar, and the vocabulary. Let's keep going.
Not a single aspect of the language went untouched by the
Not a single aspect went untouched.
Transformation. And like any other modern language, Hebrew continues to change. So, for example, the word I or me in biblical Hebrew is Anochi.
That word is An-Kaya. An-Kaya. He said, Enochi, whatever the hell she said. That's all that Yiddish and Latin, whatever the hell that Russian they got up in them that they didn't stole from Esau. I mean, I said stole from Esau. That Esau didn't stole from the Japhetic tribes, man.
This same word has changed in modern Hebrew to Ani.
That word is Anya. The root word of it is Ankaya. Right? That's the root word. Then it became Anya, which is what we had changed it to. Us as blacks and Hispanics. That word is I or I am. Okay, it never meant me at all. Okay, they can take the Yah from the end of the word and then it goes at the end of the root words and is used as me. So I see what she's trying to say, but it's always been I or I am. Let's keep going.
Besides this change in pronunciation, modern Hebrew got a lot of new words from languages like French and German. For example, the word concrete or beton came from French, while schnitzel.
That word was, and first off, it kills me with the schnitzel thing. The first word was batawan. Now this word that they about to say is schnitzel. You gotta be kidding me.
Or schnitzel
is Shanaya Tazal, right? Shanaya Tazal
came from German. And of course, there are new words to describe things that did not exist in ancient times, like electricity, chashmal, computer, machshev.
Now, all these words that they're coming up with, we can make our own words. We don't even need Esau's words.
Car, mechonit, telephone, telephone. At this point in history, someone familiar only with biblical.
Now, listen to this, y'all. This is the part y'all really, really gonna need. Just hear it real clear.
At this point in history, someone familiar only with biblical Hebrew would not be able to communicate very well with contemporary native speakers.
Somebody that only knows biblical Hebrew, you couldn't even communicate with these cats speaking modern Hebrew, speaking Yiddish, because that's what you're speaking. That's what Esau has changed it to. He has changed it to Yiddish. That's what she's saying. She's saying you would not easily be able to speak with these people. If somebody used to speak in biblical Hebrew, or the Hebrew that the ISUPK speaks, which is biblical Hebrew, you would not be able to communicate very well or at all with anybody that's speaking the Elohim Schnitzel Mazel Tov. You don't know what they talking about. Because they have stolen Yiddish and incorporated it into the Hebrew language, just like an evil child, just like a rebellious child. You got it. I said you got it. I'm playing the video, y'all. Good night. I'm the one playing the video. Let's get back into the video. All right, let's keep going.
At this point in history, someone familiar only with biblical Hebrew would not be able to communicate very well with contemporary native speakers. At the same time, a modern Hebrew speaker cannot easily read the Bible.
Did you hear that? At the same time that you can't communicate with them easily, they can't easily read the Bible. Hear that again.
Speakers. At the same time, a modern Hebrew speaker cannot easily read the Bible.
Did you hear that? They said, I'm going to play it again. I want y'all to get the whole thing, right? Listen to this.
At this point in history, someone familiar only with biblical Hebrew would not be able to communicate very well with contemporary native speakers. At the same time, a modern Hebrew speaker cannot easily read the Bible.
A modern Hebrew speaker cannot easily read the Bible. They can't even read our Bible because our Bible would not have any Yiddish scratches and marks. It will be the consonants only. They don't know how to pronounce it because they've been stopped speaking Hebrew. And the Hebrew that they speak now that they claim is Hebrew, which is not, is Yiddish with the damn Assyrian letters, it still ain't Hebrew.
How was it? Pretty interesting, right?
All right, y'all. All right, so now let's get back into it. Let's get back into it, man. So this is the craziest thing ever, right? Quatazah, what she said was somebody that speaks the modern Hebrew, which is the Yiddish, they can't easily read the Bible. Meaning how we go and we read it, they can't read it without the dots because they don't have the Yiddish pronoun. They don't know how to say it. There's no consonants. They don't know what the word is. It would give them trouble trying to read it. Here's the thing about Esau. Esau, he's a cunning hunter, right? This dummy. Go ahead.
So basically what you're saying is they just made the language up. How to say the language based on the dots.
Yeah. Okay. They took the words that were already Hebrew words, right, and they gave it Yiddish pronunciations. Right. So when you don't see how to pronounce the word, you don't know how to say it because there's so many variations of those dots. That you got the one dot tells you to do it, to say it one way, the other dot tells you to say it another way, which makes it two different words because we evolved the language. They would have been a part of it if they didn't give up their language. They would have knew slack in Hebrew. They would have knew smoke in Hebrew. But the way we would say it, we would make it known that the way I'm saying smoke or the way I'm using smoke means I'm talking about harming you or fighting you or wanting or violence. They didn't get the memo because they gave up the language. Right. So when you say she bad, you think she's acting up. You don't know that I mean that she's very beautiful. It's like because they don't speak the slang, like they skipped out on the language a long time ago. So when we evolved it by ourselves, it's like somebody who was in the UPK way back in the day coming in here now and still trying to live like they were before. The UPK has never changed, but our brotherhood is much tighter. So something that they thought they could get away with before will have very strict consequences nowadays. It's like you can't get away with, you know, whatever caused the breach in the brotherhood before. So them thinking that would just get them right back out the door. And it's that same way because they aren't here to see how much we love each other and how much our brotherhood and sisterhood has grown. You know what I mean? You can't just sneak this, think nothing gonna happen to you. You know what I mean? You're gonna end up in the council and all that. So Esau, he skipped out on the language, right? All right, so now let me get into my class, man. Let me get into my lesson. All right, y'all. Let me go into the lesson. I just want to say the reason why I brought this out is the fact that, oh damn, it fell. I couldn't get it in here. Hold on, I don't know what's going on. I couldn't get the what you call it in here. Oh, here it is, right here. that was a message that I forwarded. All right, so the fact that they changed the language is why it's so different to them. But what we speak today in ISUPK is the original Hebrew. Is what Esau used to speak before he gave up his culture and his God. Us, however, his twin brother, we kept our language. The Hispanics, the Native Americans, and Black people, Dominicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, we have kept our language. We kept our culture. They been gave it up. They just, tossed it right in the basket. Say, I'll be back later. They hit the road on God, so I'll be back later. But we kept it. So what we speak today and what we're learning is ancient. Now, with that being said, you have to know the history of Hebrew to understand that the language is a slang language, that Black people and Hispanics and Native American Indians, we grew this language. Our language has evolved. The language has been growing with us, and all the way up until we had to hide and speak it in private and be Israelites in private, all the way until we came out of slavery and we boomed it right back in 69, all the way up until today. So just understand this: the language is a slang language. So the words. So here we go. So a lot of the words have multiple meanings, like smoke, like bad, like that's cold, like ill, that's hot, or I'm cold. You know what I mean? Or I'm hot. I'm hot. It's getting hot, right? I'm hot, right? Or I'm sick, right? I'm sick. I'm coughing and I'm sneezing. Or I could be like Quatazai with my songs, and I could be sick with it. You feel me? I'm sick with it. Or I could be like Barzal and Malakia, and instead of me being ill and on a hospital bed, I'm ill in the studio. I'm ill with it, right? So with that being said, just be prepared that these connectors, they mean multiple things, some of them. Most of them mean two different things, or 3 or 4 different things is used as a lot of different things. Now I'm gonna go through it. All right, I'm gonna try to. We got a little bit less than an hour. I'm gonna try to go through this, right? Let's get started. Let me pull this up for y'all. Damn, I'm sorry, TikTok. I know y'all probably mad as hell at me. All right. So now we're gonna start with the first character in the alphabet, the first connector, and also the first character in the alphabet is the character A. Okay, it's the character A, and we're gonna go to page 1. Here we go. So I'm gonna try to zoom in on this real quick too. I know I was cutting in on a lot of the second video, right? I do want y'all to see the second video because the second video is one of the main things it gives you the breakdown. Maybe I'll play it again at the end. The second video is bedrock. Okay. All right. So this is the first character. This is the character Ah. You know what? Before I do it, let's play the video. I'm gonna just play it again. Play it again, just for everybody that wasn't able to, that I cut in 1,000 times. I just play it straight through. It's only 2 minutes, right? I think the second video is about 2 minutes. So just bear with it. We're gonna play it again. It's 2 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. Let me see. Here we go. Let's switch it back. I ain't gonna say nothing this time. I'm gonna let her go. I know I cut in both times, or was it the first video? I think it was the first video that I played that was crazy. That was boom, boom, boom. All right, let me play the second one because the second one had more stuff into it.
Hi everybody, Yana here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Hebrew questions. The question for this lesson is, just what is the difference between biblical and modern Hebrew? Now, you may be attracted to Hebrew for any number of reasons. Perhaps you want to communicate with friends or family, or maybe you're interested in studying the many religious and classical texts written in Hebrew. Depending on your reasons for learning Hebrew, you may end up learning one of two very different languages. Biblical or classical Hebrew was an ancient language that first emerged in the 10th century BC. Over the next centuries, the ancient Hebrew people used it to communicate and to take a record of their history, religion, philosophy, poetry, and culture. A portion of this literary record formed the basis of Hebrew scriptures and also what came to be called the Bible. During the Roman period, the language evolved beyond recognition and later fell out of use in daily life, but it lived on in religious contexts. Hebrew experienced a revival in the late 19th century as part of the larger Zionist movement. Thanks to the effort of Eliezer ben Yehuda, who prepared the first modern Hebrew dictionary, people started using Hebrew again to communicate with one another as they went about their lives. But because of the influence of European languages, Hebrew changed. Grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, not a single aspect of the language went untouched by the transformation. And like any other modern language, Hebrew continues to change. So, for example, the word I or me in biblical Hebrew is Anochi. This same word has changed in modern Hebrew to Ani. Besides this change in pronunciation, modern Hebrew got a lot of new words from languages like French and German. For example, the word concrete or beton came from French, while schnitzel or schnitzel came from German. And of course, there are new words to describe things that did not exist in ancient times, like electricity, chashmal, computer, machshev, car, mechonit, telephone, telephone.
Yeah, they made those
At
words.
this point in history, someone familiar only with biblical Hebrew would not be able to communicate very well with contemporary native speakers. At the same time, a modern Hebrew speaker cannot easily read the Bible. How was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions?
We can absolutely do that. We can do the same thing. General Q, listen, General Q said, I'm waiting on brothers to do it. General Q said we can make up words too.